Street Haven was founded more than 50 years ago by this woman, a nurse, Peggy Ann Walpole. Street Haven tries to help women living without adequate housing. It offers programs including help with addiction, education training, and help with finding permanent housing.
My name is Bobby Gunn. I'm Director of Housing Services at Street Haven, which is a women's shelter in downtown Toronto. So I've been at Street Haven 17 years this year.
Bobby Carey Gunn leads these efforts. She is a director, a friend, a sister to the staff and the clients at Street Haven. Before the pandemic, Street Haven had 50 beds, but then things changed. Street Haven has reduced the beds to 28 beds. Because of mandatory provincial regulations, in particular social distancing and masking, Street Haven had to cut the number of temporary beds it could offer nearly in half.
So that left, 23 women without somewhere to go.
Now, many experts believe the pandemic is waning, but the City of Toronto is telling Street Haven must continue to enforce social distancing. The purpose is to protect clients, residents from severe outcomes of COVID-19. Also, it is to minimize the impact on residents' overall health and well-being. This regulation applies to all the shelters and housing in Toronto. And with winter coming, the need for vulnerable women to have a place to sleep is great.
There are 25 hotel shelters in the city of Toronto, and St. James is one of them.
Went into emergency mode, and all of a sudden, all these hotels opened to help with the homeless.
The City of Toronto used St. James Hotel as a hotel shelter to help Street Haven assist more women. The hotel, located in downtown Toronto,
They gave me 20 new beds and replaced the 23 that we lost.
However, the hotel will be closing in April of next year.
In 2021 and 2022, Street Haven received nearly the same amount of funding from the government, $5,064,192 and $5,162,658. They've received $65 per client each night for the past 17 years. These proceeds go to paying staff, food, bills, electricity, and updating infrastructure. Since the pandemic, the health and safety of staff has become a priority. Without the staff, the shelters would not be able to function. As soon as the COVID regulations are lifted, Bobby hopes to regain the 3 staff members that she had lost. It has been a very difficult time for everyone in the shelters, with some of the staff leaving.
Hi, we cannot keep staff. Staff are burnt out, staff are tired.
COVID restrictions not only limited the capacity of the shelter, but also the number of staff. Street Haven has lost 3 out of their 53 staff during COVID-19 pandemic.
How can I help you? It's Nicola. Let me in.
Nicola Andrew is a shelter case manager at Street Haven. She has been working here for over 10 years. She has witnessed many awful cases during COVID.
We had a woman who was staying here, got COVID, went to 4 Points, and committed suicide.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and those stories are many. So yeah, it was a terrible time.
Women have to be vaccinated to stay at the shelter. The staff also have to be fully vaccinated in order to work. The most significant challenge is to get everyone vaccinated.
We have a 97% success rate of vaccine with our clients right now, but that was lots of hard work.
People at Street Haven are scared to get their vaccine shot. In October of 2022, the City of Toronto decided to change the social distancing regulation for shelters from 2 meters to 1.25 meters. Milton Barrera is a project director of Shelter, Support and Housing Administration, the SSHA, and the Housing of Homelessness Initiatives and Prevention Services for the City of Toronto.
sense of we're still looking at maintaining a 2-meter physical distancing between spaces. Under unique circumstances, we may look at 1.25, a lower physical distancing between spaces. But I think it's safe to say that there is no intention to go back to what it was.
When COVID happened, that the beds needed to be apart, they've now changed it to 1.25 meters, which is fine. It looks like we could maybe do 1 or 2 beds here.
The city has just announced that workers will not be required to provide proof of vaccination as of December 1st, 2022. Following this, they will have more information available as to how this will affect Street Haven and other shelters.
They're funding us right now at our 50 beds, but we weren't funded enough in the beginning, and we haven't budgeted for this increase. So it's like now we have to look at how are we going to feed them, how are we going to make all this other stuff.
This is Daxni Desmoulins with my co-producer Jenny Lee for Say News.